The Mandalorian Chapter 2 or Episode 2. Man, so alright. In my Episode 1 review, I said I was not going to go into spoilers for that episode, but in future reviews I would. Well, here's what I'm going to do here. So, first thing I'm going to say is this episode was good. I enjoyed it. It did a lot of world building. And we're going to leave it at that. Had a lot of action. We're going to leave it at that as far as the non-spoiler portion of this review goes. At this point, though, I feel like in order to properly discuss this episode, we have to go into some spoilers. So, if you haven't seen it yet on Disney Plus, or if you haven't been able to watch it, whatever means you have of watching it, check it out and come back if you care about spoilers. If you do not, then it's all good to go because this is just episode 2 of many more episodes to come. So, The Mandalorian episode 2. I actually, even though episode 1 really set everything up right, and had the big twist at the end where we find out that the Mandalorian's mission is to protect this, what people are calling Baby Yoda, which is this sort of baby version of what Yoda's species is. They have never officially revealed what the name is for Yoda's species. At least they haven't, to my knowledge. If they did in some obscure book I never read, then that's fine. But I've never heard them ever reveal what the name of Yoda's race is. But we have this, Baby Yoda. And it's the most adorable, cutest thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but it doesn't sound like something I would normally say, but it's extremely cute. And the Mandalorian is sworn to protect this thing and do what it takes to protect it. But this episode, episode 2, was done to kind of showcase that this Baby Yoda, as they're calling it, is more than what it seems. Now, it hasn't been revealed to my recollection that this is actually the son of Yoda. Some people are assuming that it is Yoda's son. I'm actually hoping that it is not Yoda's son because having somebody be like the child of someone else, and it just makes the Star Wars universe so much smaller. And, it's like so-and-so has to be related to this person, that person, and you get tired of everybody being related. It gets kind of old. With the Mandalorian show specifically, more in the Skywalker saga, because the Mandalorian show is so far removed from the Skywalkers, I feel like they should remove themselves in every way possible. Now, if you want to have a Baby Yoda species be sort of the MacGuffin, as you can say, of the series or of the season or whatever, that's fine. But to have it be actually Yoda's son who has Force powers, to me, is just, it's too derivative. So we're gonna go ahead and go into spoilers now. Like I said, we're already kind of into it right now. So the big purpose of this episode was to, in fact, reveal that this baby does indeed have the ability to use the Force. Now, the reality of this is it does seem a little bit hypocritical to criticize, for example, Rey for being able to use the Force in Force Awakens so skillfully, and yet here we have an actual baby, presumably untrained, being able to do this. Now, they may later on explain what's going on, or maybe it's really not a baby, but just, a very short member of the race. I really don't know what they're going to explain, but I don't want to be a hypocrite and sit here and say that, it doesn't make any sense, because it might make sense later on, but it was a great scene. I mean, it was a great scene in the episode when you see the Baby Yoda lifting up that space rhino, whatever the species is, and tossing, allowing the Mandalorian to get the final kill. I thought that was great. Yeah, this whole episode, the episode's called The Child, Mandalorian Chapter 2, The Child, and it's all about this child that seems to have a lot of potential. Now, whether or not they want to harvest this potential to use, to have a weapon that can use the Force, or maybe they don't even know about it, to me is going to be an interesting story going forward. So, again, we have some cool stuff at the beginning of the episode. Mandalorians disintegrating a bunch of fools. We see more Jawas in this episode. There's a scene, actually, where the Mandalorian is, sniping Jawas from a distance, and he's blowing them to smithereens, yo. It's the coolest freaking thing. This show is, ruthless, yo, but it's not, overly gory. This is a show that I think, like I said in my episode 1 review, it's refreshing to kind of see where they're going with this. It's a refreshing series. And those of you who might be confused about why there were 2 episodes in 1 week, it's because of the Disney Plus premiere. Going forward now, it's going to be 1 episode a week for The Mandalorian until the season ends, and then we're going to take a break, then come back for, more episodes in the future. So that's how it'll work. But, man, it just feels so good to see a show like this. And it's not, like I said, overly manly or overly violent or any of that stuff, but it works for what it's trying to present, which is, the Star Wars underworld. The the gangsters and the bounty hunters, and it gets grimy down there, so it does a very effective job. There's actually a pretty cool scene where the Mandalorian uses a flamethrower built into his his armor or whatever, and it was cool because it made me want them to put out a Mandalorian video game. I would love it if, when this series is over, or when it's close to being over, or in the future, if the show does really get popular and people love it, if they do make a Mandalorian video game where you have access to all his weapons. He's got a grappling hook, he can make things float, he's got obviously several guns, and of course the flamethrower. And they kind of tease it earlier in the episode where he threatens to burn someone's face off, and then at the end of the episode when they have the big fight with the Rhino, he does use it there. It was cool. I mean, it might not have had, episode 2 of The Mandalorian may not have had the same like shocker ending from the previous episode that had a great twist at the end, but it really, he lights the flamethrower right at the Jawa's head, bro. It was so cool. But it was great. Also, I gotta say, the line of the episodes when he says, "I'm a Mandalorian, weapons are a part of my religion." I love that. I love this character so much. It's about time we had like a real anti-hero badass. Like, that's what he is. And this episode added layers to his character, a little bit more lore on Mandalore and like the armor and everything. Not too much more, but just a little bit more stuff that hardcore Star Wars fans will like. But also, Baby Yoda. Like, I actually did not want them to use the Force at all in this show. I was hoping they wouldn't. And that's where I'm kind of split on how to think about this. But as long as they don't overdo it, I think it'll be fine. There's always going to be rumors about, who will appear in The Mandalorian, who will make cameos and things like that. Well, because this takes place after episode 6, before Force Awakens, it ain't going to be Obi-Wan, it ain't going to be Vader. So could it be a young Kylo Ren? I mean, again, it's too soon to tell what kind of cameos will be in this, but I hope that they keep the Force stuff to a minimum, because I really like the idea of the Mandalorian trying to survive on his own without the use of the Force. That, to me, is the most compelling thing about this show. Plus, the Mandalorian as a character, which I assume what they're going to do is keep it a secret for a while as far as who he is, and probably not reveal it till the end of the season, or possibly even the next season. I'm not sure where they're going to go with it, but Jon Favreau delivers again. Mandalorian season 1 episode 2, another good one. I look forward to seeing where it goes. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you think about this, and I will see you down there.